friends, in this video we're going to learn how to talk about the weather.
We'll have some example sentences as well as some common ways to describe different weather types.
It's so damn hot.
Such as sunny, windy, raining. This is all foundational language that all learners should master. Speaking of mastery, this video is brought to you by the Skritter app, your path to Chinese and Japanese mastery. Go download the app, learn all the vocabulary covered in today's video. You can browse through hundreds of textbooks, thousands of decks, and when you sign up, you will get a free copy of Skritter's complete guide to learning Chinese.
Woohoo!
Right, let's start with some conversation starters, phrases where we can ask about the weather.
明天天气好吗？
Or,
明天天气怎么样？
so is the weather good? Or what's the weather like tomorrow? I think this is great, obviously, when you're asking for the forecast for tomorrow. But let's say you're sat in your, office building, I was about to say office cubicle, when you're sat in your cubicle and maybe you're about to go out and buy lunch, you may ask your colleague,
外面会热吗？外面会冷吗？
冷. Or maybe you're asking if it's raining, maybe you need an umbrella.
外面有没有在下雨？
Now that we've got these basic phrases covered, let's see how we can describe the temperature. So not just 热 and 冷 as we heard before, but a few more terms in between that scale. So yeah, we will start with
冷
and we'll move to 热. So what are the two in between, Ayana? So on one end we have
冷凉温暖热
cold, cool, warm, and hot. And if we want to kind of say, oh gosh, it's quite hot or so hot, super hot, how can we add even more scale to the words we just learned? Let's use hot as an example.
好，有点热，
A bit hot.
好热，
It's quite hot, quite hot.
超热，
Oh my god, it's so hot.
热到我快融化了。
I am so hot, I could melt. You could apply the same structure as you'll see on the screen now. Our editor is going to magically change it to cold. And obviously you can't melt if you're cold. How would you say you are so cold, you are frozen?
冷到我快冻僵了。
Okay, so 有点冷，好冷，超冷，冷到我快冻僵了。We actually learned about rain in the example sentence right at the start, but I really want to share what I think is a really cute term to describe, which is something that's not quite nice sounding in English when we say spitting rain.
好恶心。
But I think the Mandarin phrase is far superior, and that is
毛毛雨，
oh, isn't it so cute? Mao Mao, you might think is furry, but what it actually means is something that's very small. So sometimes you will see phrases with the term Mao, and it doesn't actually mean hair or fur, it means very small. So very, very cute, small rain. 下毛毛雨，下雨，下毛毛雨. Since we have learned small, very small rain, what about very big rain?
如果比毛毛雨再更大一点，就是下小雨。那如果是很大雨的雨的话，就是下大雨。
And I believe you can do the same and replace the word snow, which is
雪
with the same structure,
对
right? So
下大雪
small,
下小雪，
yeah,
下雪。
small snow, big snow.
对，但是不能说毛毛雪。
Yes, you can't say furry, furry snow.
好像还蛮可爱的。
yeah, it's quite cute. 毛毛雨 is exclusively for
Rain.
Since we just learned about rain, let's do a quick detour for terms related to thunder. So in English, we say thunder strikes, and I want you to keep this term in mind because I think the Mandarin term is very similar with 打雷. 打 can mean to hit or to strike. So thunder strikes, or the reverse, 打雷. Alternatively, if you see the flash of lightning, this phrase is also similar-ish to English, and that is 闪电, right? The spark or the flash of electricity, whereas the sound, thunder, is
雷声
yes, 打雷, thunder. Next, let's learn about humidity, because boy, do we know what that is about. In Taiwan, it is humid right now.
It's so damn hot. Milk was a bad choice.
So let's start with the first word for humid. What? It is humid. It's so hot. 好热,超热. And it's also
很潮湿
潮湿, humid, and then what's the opposite for that?
干燥，这是一个不存在在台湾的词。
Only if you have your dehumidifier on is it 干燥. So if you want to say it's so humid today or it's so dry today, you can say
今天好干燥，今天好潮湿。
Alternatively, what I think is also a great phrase to learn for humid, when you just feel like the weather is like so oppressive and it almost feels like you can't breathe. It feels like you are in a Ding Typhoon steaming dumpling bowl.
台北的夏天就是在蒸笼里面度过的感觉。
If that's what it feels like, this is the term you can use. And Iona will give you the full example sentence in a moment. But the term is 闷, and look at the character. It's great. It has the door component for the sound and the heart for that kind of trapped, oppressive feeling. So the full sentence would be
今天天气好闷哦，快热死了。
You can actually also use the term 闷 for when you're feeling a bit blue and a bit kind of down. So 今天心情好闷哦. Let's end with some wind, mist, and storms. So for the term wind, that would be
风
and the term for mist is
雾
and actually these two terms use a similar structure to describe, for example, the wind picking up or the mist picking up, and that is
起风了。
so 起 to come up or to raise up. You can kind of visually see that 起风了,起雾了. We talked about different strengths of rain. How would we talk about different strengths of wind?
如果是小小的风，就是微风；
Gentle breeze.
稍微大一点的，风好大，
Very strong wind.
大风；风超大，好像就没有讲超大风。
Yes. So 风很大，风超大。For mist, we use a slightly different structure. We talk about kind of the thickness of it, as you would kind of discussing a thickness of soup, maybe. And that would be
浓雾，
or
雾好浓。
Now let's move on to storms. And I know actually what instinctually comes to my mind is the typhoon, but I know that is for specific regions only. So Iona, I want to ask you how you would just talk about a storm in general.
暴风雨，
So really crazy wind and rain. But the term specifically for a typhoon is?
台风。
So if there is a typhoon, you might hear this phrase on the news.
明天台风会来，要做好防台准备。希望你会喜欢今天的影片，记得去下载 Skritter 来学中文。我们下次见。
Bye! Let us know if there's any other foundational videos that you would like to watch. Bye!